Dwayne Johnson, fondly known as The Rock, has faced more slams, punches, and falls than most of us could ever imagine. But did you know that behind those iconic eyebrow raises and intimidating smackdowns lies a story of numerous injuries and resilience? Indeed, beneath the glitz and glamour of the wrestling ring there's a tale of grit, determination, and undeniable toughness. In his illustrious career, The Rock has suffered a myriad of injuries, each one more daunting than the last. Yet, like the indomitable force he is, he never backed down, always picking himself up and charging headfirst into the next battle. From torn muscles to dislocated joints, Johnson's journey in wrestling is a testament to the sheer willpower of the human spirit. It's a saga of a man who, time and again, stared adversity in the face and chose to push on. Stay with us as we delve into the chronicles of The Rock's wrestling injuries. Before stepping into the wrestling ring, Johnson had his fair share of injuries on the football field. Dwayne Johnson, the man we now revere as The Rock, embarked on his athletic journey in the rough and tumble world of American football. With a naturally robust physique and an unyielding determination, Johnson quickly rose through the ranks to become a formidable force on the gridiron. Playing for the University of Miami, he was a part of the team that clinched the national championship in 1991. His performance was so impressive that it caught the attention of the Canadian Football League, who signed him on in 1995. However, the field of football is not without its perils. Johnson was no stranger to these, experiencing a range of injuries throughout his career. From minor sprains and strains to more serious injuries like torn muscles and ligaments, Johnson's football career was as much about resilience in the face of adversity as it was about athletic prowess. It was during a match in the Canadian Football League that Johnson suffered a severe back injury, putting his football career on hold. After a long and grueling recovery, Johnson returned to the field, only to sustain further injuries. His dreams of a long-lasting football career were starting to look more like a distant mirage. Faced with an uncertain future, Johnson made the difficult decision to retire from football. It was a heart-wrenching moment, but as we know, every setback is a setup for a comeback, and what a comeback it was. Johnson's resilience led him to a new path, one that would eventually catapult him to global stardom. His transition from the gridiron to the squared circle wasn't easy, but it was a journey that Johnson was ready to embark on. With an unbroken spirit and a body that had been tempered by the trials of the football field, Johnson was ready to step into the wrestling ring. When one door closed due to injuries, another opened, leading Johnson to the world of wrestling. As Johnson stepped into the wrestling ring, he was no stranger to injuries. Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock, began his wrestling career in the mid-90s after a short stint in football. The world of professional wrestling was a far cry from the football field, and the physical demands were intense. The Rock was stepping into a whole new arena, literally and figuratively. His early years in wrestling were marked by a steep learning curve and his fair share of injuries. The Rock, with his signature eyebrow raise and electrifying charisma, was not immune to the brutal toll wrestling takes on an athlete's body. No matter how much flair he brought to the ring, the physicality of wrestling was relentless. One of his earliest injuries occurred during a match when he suffered a painful knee injury. The damage was so severe that it required surgery, sidelining The Rock for several weeks. But that didn't deter him. Instead, it fueled his determination to bounce back stronger. During another fierce match, The Rock sustained a serious shoulder injury. This was a significant setback, as it not only affected his performance in the ring but also his training outside it. However, The Rock, true to his indomitable spirit, did not let this setback define him. Instead, he used it as a stepping stone to push his limits even further. In the early years, these injuries served as stark reminders of the physical demands of wrestling. They were also a testament to The Rock's resilience and determination. Each injury, each setback was a new challenge to overcome, and overcome he did, time and time again. The Rock's early wrestling years were not just about injuries, they were about resilience, about bouncing back, about proving that he was as tough as the persona he portrayed in the ring. The Rock was not just a character, he was a force to be reckoned with. Despite these injuries, The Rock was just getting started. With the rise of The Rock's stardom came more intense fights and, unfortunately, more injuries. As Dwayne Johnson's fame soared, so did the risks he had to endure inside the wrestling ring. The Rock, as he was known in the wrestling world, had a run at the top that was filled with incredible moments and equally incredible injuries. In the late 90s and early 2000s, he was the face of professional wrestling, a magnet that drew in millions of fans. But with that popularity came a price. One of the major injuries that The Rock faced was a herniated disc in his back. This happened during a match against Triple H in late 1998. Despite the excruciating pain, Johnson continued the match, and later he underwent surgery to repair the damage. Then there was the infamous Royal Rumble in 2000, where he suffered a severe neck injury. The Rock took a devastating blow to the neck, which resulted in a herniated disc. This injury required an intense regimen of physical therapy and rehabilitation. But true to his indomitable spirit, The Rock was back in the ring just a few short months later. And who could forget the brutal match against Kurt Angle at No Way Out in 2001? The Rock sustained a torn tendons in his shoulder during this match. This injury, too, required surgery and a lengthy recovery process. But perhaps the most brutal of his injuries was a torn Achilles tendon in 2002, which forced him to take a break from wrestling. The recovery was long and grueling, but The Rock made a triumphant return to the ring in 2003. Each of these injuries, severe as they were, only served to highlight The Rock's resilience. They were reminders of the physical toll wrestling can take, but also of the incredible determination that Dwayne Johnson brought to his craft. Even in the face of these setbacks, The Rock's spirit remained unbroken. The injuries were tough, but they couldn't match the power of The Rock's resilience. His determination, his spirit, his will to rise above it all, that's what made him a superstar. Dwayne Johnson wasn't just a wrestler, he was an entertainer, and sometimes the show must go on despite the pain. The wrestling ring was his stage, and no matter the severity of his injuries, Johnson never let his performance falter. He was more than a superstar. He was a beacon of resilience, a man who understood the importance of the spectacle and his role within it. Consider the time during a match when he suffered a severe abdominal tear. As excruciating as the pain was, he didn't let it break his character. He continued to battle, not just against his opponent, but against his own body's limitations. His endurance captivated the audience, and his determination only added to his growing legend. Or take another instance when he dislocated his shoulder during a high-stakes match. With the world watching, he popped his shoulder back into place mid-fight and continued the performance. A lesser man might have quit, but quitting was not in Johnson's vocabulary. Then there was the time when he sustained multiple injuries during a particularly brutal match, including a broken finger. Despite the visible discomfort, he soldiered on, delivering an unforgettable performance that left the audience in awe of his tenacity. These were not isolated incidents. They were a recurring theme in Johnson's wrestling career. He was the embodiment of the phrase, "the show must go on," pushing through the pain barrier time and time again to give the fans what they came for, a performance worthy of the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Johnson's approach to wrestling was not just about physical prowess but mental toughness. His ability to endure, to persevere, and to excel in the face of adversity was as much a part of his appeal as his charismatic personality and his undeniable talent. Johnson's dedication to his craft was a testament to his resilience. His commitment to the spectacle, to his fans, and to the sport that made him a household name was unwavering. Even in the face of physical pain, he remained the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Even after stepping away from wrestling, Johnson couldn't resist the call of the ring. The electrifying energy, the roar of the crowd, the adrenaline rush, it all beckoned him back. And so, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson returned to the squared circle, ready to reclaim his throne. His return to wrestling, however, came with a hefty price. The stakes were higher, the opponents tougher, and the battles more intense. And with each slam, each fall, and each victory came a new scar, a new badge of honor, a new testament to his resilience. In 2012, during a headline match at WrestleMania, Johnson was pitted against the formidable John Cena. This was a match for the ages, with both titans pushing each other to their limits. But the price of this epic battle was a torn abdominal and adductor muscles for Johnson. Injuries that would require surgery to repair. A year later, Johnson found himself in the ring once more, against Cena. The rematch was as electrifying as the first, but the physical toll was even greater. Johnson sustained multiple injuries, including a hernia, torn adductor, and abdominal muscles. These injuries required not one, but 3 emergency surgeries. Despite the physical toll, Johnson showed an unwavering spirit. His resilience was unmatched, his determination unyielding. He would not let these battles defeat him. Instead, he used them as fuel to push harder, to rise higher, and to conquer every challenge that came his way. But these battles were more than just physical tests. They were reminders of the harsh realities of wrestling, of the toll it takes on the body. Each injury, each surgery, each recovery period was a stark reminder that wrestling is not for the faint of heart. It requires strength, resilience, and an indomitable spirit, qualities that Johnson has in spades. These injuries were a stark reminder of the toll wrestling can take on the body. But they were also a testament to the indomitable spirit of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a man who has proven time and time again that he is indeed the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Today, Dwayne Johnson is known as a global superstar, but his journey is marked by the battles he fought and the injuries he overcame. Dwayne Johnson, affectionately known as The Rock, is a titan in every sense of the word. His wrestling career is a tapestry woven with countless victories, unforgettable performances, and yes, numerous injuries. Each setback, each physical toll taken on his body, shaped him into the resilient force he is today. In the world of professional wrestling, each match is a test of strength, a dance with danger. The Rock faced these tests head-on, pushing his body to its limit, sometimes beyond. With each injury he had a choice, to step back or to step up, and every single time he chose the latter. In the late 90s he suffered a serious back injury, but his spirit remained unbroken. He used this setback as fuel, returning to the ring stronger, hungrier, and more determined. Then came the torn pectoral muscle, the ruptured Achilles tendon, the herniated discs. Each injury, a new chapter in his story of resilience. But it wasn't just his physical strength that was tested. The mental fortitude required to continually rise from the ashes of defeat is a testament to The Rock's unyielding character. His injuries became a part of his narrative, a reminder of his journey, and a symbol of his resilience. In the face of adversity, Dwayne Johnson didn't just survive, he thrived. His wrestling career may have been marked by injuries, but it was his ability to overcome them that truly defined him. The Rock's story is not one of invincibility, but of resilience. Each scar, a badge of honor. Each setback, a stepping stone to success. And so, even as he transitioned from the wrestling ring to the silver screen, the legacy of his resilience lives on. His injuries, his battles, his victories, they all contributed to the superstar he is today, a beacon of strength and resilience for millions around the world. The Rock's story is a testament to the power of resilience in the face of adversity. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a name synonymous with strength and resilience, has had a career filled with both glory and pain. From the outset of his career, Dwayne Johnson was no stranger to physical adversity. His initial foray into the world of professional sports came with football, where he battled through numerous injuries. But it was his transition to professional wrestling that truly put his resilience to the test. As we have explored throughout this video, The Rock's wrestling career was marked by a series of injuries that would have ended the careers of many lesser athletes. He suffered everything from dislocations to muscle tears, yet each time he was knocked down, he got back up again. His determination was unwavering, his spirit unbreakable. One of the most significant injuries he sustained was a torn pectoral muscle, which required major surgery and extensive rehabilitation. Yet, within months, he was back in the ring, electrifying audiences with his charisma and athleticism. Then there was the time he wrestled with a herniated disc in his back, a condition that causes severe pain and can significantly limit mobility. But The Rock didn't let it stop him. He pushed through the pain, delivering performances that left fans in awe of his physical prowess and mental fortitude. In fact, The Rock's resilience extended beyond the wrestling ring. Even after transitioning to a successful acting career, he continued to push his body to its limits, regularly performing his own stunts and maintaining a rigorous training regimen. Yet, through each injury, through each setback, The Rock has emerged stronger and more determined. His story is a testament to the power of resilience, to the spirit of a true champion who refuses to back down, no matter the odds. In the end, The Rock's story is not just about the injuries he endured, but about the strength he found to keep going, to keep fighting, and to keep entertaining us all.